This on the topic with Blank, episode number 2. I'm here with Connor Britt. What's going on, Connor?
Nothing much, Tanner. What's going on with you?
Just hanging out.
Yeah. How's your week been?
It's been alright. Stressful, writing papers. Writing a lot of papers, actually.
Yeah, I had a couple to write this week, too.
Yeah, I read your blog article about...
Yeah?
Did
you like it?
I did. Why don't you tell the people what it's about?
So, just in case y'all didn't know, I write a blog, lee.britt at wordpress.com. But, basically, this week, there's been a lot of political news. So, I'll start with, there's a plan for a highway to go through the biggest wildlife refugee in the United States up in Alaska, so they can get more, they can get trucks and more,
infrastructure,
equipment to the oil rigs up there in the Bering Sea up there in Alaska, and Trump and his cabinet are letting it happen, and it's quite infuriating. Just looking at examples of like Bears Ear and Grand Staircase Escalante, it's just, you see that there's becoming a decrease of national parks and a decrease of the want for public land.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily all because of the Trump administration.
Well,
I think
no.
It's been on a decline for years.
It's because people are becoming so entwined to technology now. They don't appreciate
Well, it's not even that. They just have less of an appreciation for it and less
desire,
concern with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because as humans, we're going to use more and we need to find more. And instead of, getting it from other countries, we choose to give up our own land to get it.
Well, there's something to be said about, using our own natural resources and not having to rely on other foreign countries.
Yeah. Because it shows power.
Well, it shows power and also shows self-reliance.
Yeah, that we don't need anybody.
And also, I'm a big proponent of national parks and wildlife refuge, but I don't think a road just cutting down the middle of it is the worst thing that could happen.
Well, no, but it's the start of something, because whenever you take away one place, because there's 27 parks up for review by Trump and his administration, and I feel like it's not all Trump's fault. Let me get that clear. It's not all his fault. It's, like Tanner said, an appreciation that is declining. But it's that one is the start to something new, and you see. It's already happened twice in the past 2 weeks, and those are the first 2 they've done, or the first 3, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that's a big issue that I feel could be becoming very, I don't really know the word to describe it, very...
It's almost symbolic that, we have these national parks and wildlife refuges that used to be so prioritized, back in the day, say from the 10s to 50s, and it really shows sort of where we're at as a country, almost.
Yeah, the way we develop.
And obviously there's a lot more complicated issues and things like that.
Yeah, there's that, and you can look at it to the point where there's a rising population in America, so you have to have land. Whenever you have people, you have to have places to put them and things of that sort. So, I guess that could also be taken as something.
Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, it's only 3% of the United States is
private land.
No, it's cities.
Yeah.
Developed with infrastructure and stuff like that. So, that's 97. Well, more than 3% of that is populated, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be smaller towns.
Because
and
there's
stuff like
rural and urban development areas. And
exactly. But it still shows that there is nature out there. You know what I mean?
It's there. We just don't look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
oh, my bad.
You're good.
So, how'd you like the new Star Wars movie? How'd that go?
Oh, well, I absolutely loved it. I know it's kind of split the fan base, but
Really?
Yeah.
Everything I've really been looking at has been saying it's great. I thought it was great.
Yeah. So you're sort of
a newcomer of sorts. Watched all of them in a week.
Because you watched all of them in 1 week, and then you went to see
Except for Rogue One.
Oh, you didn't watch Rogue One?
I didn't watch Rogue One. I had to get some explaining in the theater about somebody.
Okay, so you got all the saga movies. So what do you think of 8?
My probably favorite one yet.
And
8 was my favorite, I think.
We're probably going to be talking about spoilers here, so I'll just preface that if you don't want the movie to be spoiled,
skip ahead
or click off the video. So you liked 8 the best out of all of them.
Yeah, it goes probably Last Jedi, and then probably The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
that'd probably be my 2 favorite ones.
Empire is regarded as the best Star Wars movies ever made, and it's classic, you know. So it's interesting coming from a new viewer's point of view that.
I just like the way that my thing with The Last Jedi was it just like it kind of showed a side to Star Wars that we're not really used to. Like, just for an example, the casino scene where they go to
Canto Bight.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it. Thank you for reminding me. Where they go to the casino in Canto Bight and it's Rose and Finn. And it's just kind of a weird, like, you don't expect it. I didn't expect it whenever I went in, honestly.
Yeah,
it was just full of twists and turns. It was great.
You know, Ryan Johnson, the director of that, said, you know, we've seen the scum and villainy, you know, with Mos Eisley on Tatooine in Episode 4, and then with Maz Kanata's castle in Episode 7. But now we're seeing the rich and elite.
The people that are selling the weapons to those bad people.
And the good people.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, the Code Breaker. How about the Code Breaker, man? That was crazy.
What did you think of that character? Because
I liked him.
I liked him too, but it's funny because I've been watching reviews and talking to people and stuff, and that whole sequence is unnecessary if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not required, but I think it added on. I do think the movie was a little bit long, though.
Yeah, I could see that. Well,
especially that the last 30 minutes of it, very slow, but I think we're worth it. Whenever Luke comes back and
definitely. Well, what do you think of the throne room lightsaber fight in Snoke's throne room with Rey and Kylo joining up?
Freaking awesome.
Did you expect that at all, or did it?
I could kind of see the seeds getting planted with Kylo a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you see throughout the movie that him and Rey have this emotional connection, and I think, it was still a huge surprise because you don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, going into the theater.
The weirdest thing to me was afterwards he still stayed with the dark side is my thing.
Here's the deal. So, in Star Wars, and I'm about to nerd out here.
Yeah, nerd out.
So, the Sith, the bad guys, right? So like Darth Vader, Emperor, and all that. Like, their whole deal is the apprentice is going to eventually kill the master and then take his place.
So that happens.
So
technically,
even though they're not Sith, it's still, he wanted power for himself.
Yeah.
And he even said, Rey, join me, but.
Because I thought, the way at least I interpreted that scene was he wanted to break off from the Sith. Well, they're not Sith, but the First Order. Is it the First Order?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was trying to remember if they were called that. But yeah, I thought he was going down the codebreaker route where he's like, well, there's not a good side and there's not a bad side.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I thought that too. I was like, whoa, he's going to the light side.
Going
like,
AWOL.
What? Like, I didn't expect that at all. I expected him to stay dark, and then after the fight, you see that.
Mm-hmm. Man,
The
that fight between him and Luke, man.
What do you think about that?
Luke
projecting a younger version of himself.
That was awesome. I don't have a bad thing to say about that movie, except maybe it lasted a little bit long.
Yeah, well, the length for me wasn't terrible because, I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
It wasn't the worst thing.
I can watch it all day, but...
For me, being a first time, that's the first time I've ever seen a Star Wars movie in theaters. So that it just kind of, to me, seemed a little bit...
What a neat experience, though. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it was. It's crazy to see the fan support, because, we're in the theater and then something cool happened and everybody just starts breaking into a clap. Did that happen whenever y'all went?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy.
The only complaint I have about the movie is some of the humor in it didn't land with me.
Really?
Yeah, the first...
I think it's
that first part with Poe, Well,
I like Poe.
I like the humor. I just didn't necessarily
you don't think it fits in Star Wars.
That movie.
Yeah. In that situation. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that smart aleck mentality.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even have a problem with Poe, joking.
Because that's Poe's character.
But with Hux, the guy he was talking to, I was like, okay,
I thought that was kind of funny, but a little bit uncalled for.
Yeah.
But solidified in my mind, at least, Luke is my favorite character in Star Wars for sure. For sure. It's between him and Han Solo, really.
Yeah.
And with Rogue One, the news I heard about it, I'm very depressed.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
With all the characters being dead?
Yeah. Oh, well,
have you watched Rogue One yet?
No, I haven't, but I heard what happened. That's basically... Jack told me what had happened.
Well...
Because Han Solo's kid killed him, right? That's at least what I was told.
Wait, are you talking about Rogue One or The Force Awakens?
Rogue One. He told me it happened in Rogue One.
No.
Really?
Rogue One is... there's no Luke, there's no Han...
Then there's no Star Wars. I'm just kidding.
No. Well, it's about how they got the Death Star plans.
But it's the thing that's cool about it though is that you're seeing the emergence of new characters. You're seeing the generations form with Finn and Rey.
Yeah, it's the new generation.
Yeah, and just you're seeing the people that are coming back out. Luke is kind of Luke develops another Jedi and he's another apprentice. You think he'll open up another temple?
Well, he's dead.
Oh yeah. Crap. My bad.
Yeah,
spoiler alert. Yeah. Because I forgot he died on the mountain.
Well, he becomes one with the Force, yeah. But no, that's interesting because I do think that he's going to become a Force ghost in Episode 9.
Ooh.
Yeah, and be talking with Rey and stuff as she's learning, and then with Kylo also, he's going to be...
You think Kylo's...
No, I think Luke's gonna appear to Kylo and haunt him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I might not remember her name. Leia's apprentice. Purple hair.
Oh, that's.
Couldn't remember her name, but that was. Whew. She did work.
Yeah.
It was a good move by her though. I kind of was thinking to myself, why didn't they do that sooner? Why didn't they? I didn't understand her whole idea with get everybody out of the ship and then do that.
And another thing is that I don't necessarily like about the movie is why didn't she just tell Poe?
Why didn't she tell Poe her whole
what her plan was, and then the Canto Bite stuff and all that wouldn't have been necessary.
I think the reason though she didn't say that is because Poe wouldn't have let her do it. Poe's personality wouldn't have let it happen. I don't think.
No, yeah. Well, the reason behind it is that there's such small ships that they're not going to be detected, and there's a rebel base right there.
Yeah.
So
that planet,
Crate.
Yeah. With all the natural resources. I did they had some good CGI in the movie. I'm not gonna lie, really good CGI.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that stuff was practical effects, because it's new with The Force Awakens, and they're going back to practical effects. Just
like those things
like
that
the original.
like the things that Rey and Finn in the Codebreaker, or not the Codebreaker, but Rey and Finn right away in the casino scene.
That's funny, 'cause that was probably my least favorite scene, with the dog horse things.
I just thought it was cool what they were.
Yeah,
But man,
I mean the creatures in Star Wars
I love
second to none.
Yeah, I love me some BB-8 though. I love BB-8.
So let me ask you this: BB-8 or R2D2?
BB-8, no doubt.
Oh, really?
BB-8. Even though I love Luke, BB-8.
Hmm.
Because I love Poe. I like Poe a lot.
Yeah.
I think if Poe... I thought, just being honest, I thought they should have made Poe the next Jedi. Like, I know it completely goes against a lot of stuff in Star Wars, like a lot of theories and stuff, but I think it should have happened. Because I thought it would have been great.
Yeah. Well, I think Poe, the way I look at it is, Rey is the next Luke, right? Poe is the next Leia, and Finn is the next Han.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you look, and like Poe's going to be the leader of the Resistance, right? And then Rey's got her.
You'll have Rey
Jedi,
just kind of doing
being
her
a Jedi.
own thing. Yeah. That's the thing I like about the Jedi, though, is they like to do their own thing. That's the reason, like, the Jedi, like, it's the reason I love so much of the Jedi, man. Obi-Wan, Han Solo, all of them.
Han Solo?
Han Solo?
He's not a Jedi.
I thought Han Solo was.
No, dude.
I told you I had to fly through him. I watched 13 and a half hours of footage in 4 days, so.
Yeah.
If I'm missing a lot of stuff, sorry. Don't get mad at me. But, yeah. Real good movie. Real good movie. Should, they're saying it might break box office, like, the record.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But just not knowing, like, the Star Wars community and being entered into it, it's freaking cool.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird... It's a really weird experience, but it's really cool. Yeah, the people who watch those are really good about not spoiling stuff for you.
Oh, certain people, because
Yeah.
I got The Force Awakens spoiled for me, and then so I need to stay off of the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was lucky because I got to see it premiere night
Oh, you
on
did?
one of the first showings. So.
Oh, really? But man, just besides that, there's been nothing to watch in the movies this year. There hasn't been a lot of good movies that have come out.
Yeah, you're right.
I think movies that are, I think the movie theater industry is kind of declining slowly.
Well,
because you look at the emergence of like Netflix originals are killing the game right now.
Yeah,
Netflix
does
original.
put out like very good content.
They're putting out some of the best like movies and TV shows I've ever watched. Like one of my favorites. No, this can sound really cheesy, but the show Masterminds. I thought that was a Netflix original. Zach Galifianakis and.
I don't know if that is.
Well, I know that it's a. I know that was their main like releasing source was Netflix.
Yeah.
No, but speaking of Zach Galifianakis, see him, serious movie. He's
What?
It was on some trailer at the movies. It was for some Disney movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Well, you know he's gonna be comic relief in that. He's not gonna.
Yeah. Hopefully.
No. Some movies I wanna go see are the 3 Billboards. I think it's 3 Billboards in Madison County. It's about some mom whose daughter dies, and the police aren't, in her mind, doing enough about it. So she puts up 3 billboards, like on her road. And then another one is.
I saw one. It was about
Shape of Water. Is the other one.
Huh.
You know what that
No.
is? It's a fictional love story set in the 1950s.
Yeah.
And it's this government worker who, she's a cleaning lady basically for in a top secret facility. She comes across like a fish man, basically. Yeah, but they fall in love, and it's supposed to be like super good.
Fish man.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm ready for the Incredibles 2.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready to see all the classics I watched as a kid come back.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
Like I remember the last like animated movie I paid to go see was I think it was the last Shrek.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't watch a lot of animated movies.
I think the last one I saw was Cars 3.
I never saw one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you think the movie industry or just the TV industry also is relying too much on like nostalgia and like original content that they're remaking?
I don't know on that one. I mean, I think that there are people I think a lot of original stuff that's getting put out is people are appreciating the nostalgic stuff, but they realize that there's new stuff like I think people understand that, and I don't really think they rely on that.
Well, you look at shows like Stranger Things, right, where it's set in the 1980s, where it's super just filled to the brim with nostalgia.
Yeah.
But it's original content.
Yeah.
But then you look at like movies coming out like It or Star Wars even, where
You take the name Star Wars in vain.
well, not really, because they're doing a good job with Star Wars, but like they're remaking like RoboCop or the Alien franchise or
RoboCop, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, yeah.
I don't know. I think they're trying too hard whenever they remake these movies sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's what makes some movies great. Like, this is a very unpopular opinion, but I think Grown Ups is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Okay. And I think it's funny just because, like, I find dad humor very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a dad humor kind of guy, and I think that kind of humor is funny. And I think whenever they try to do the second, like, the assumption that sequels are always bad isn't true, but it's damn close to true.
Yeah. Well, there's only a handful of sequels, in my opinion, that are as good or better than the originals.
Oh yeah, it's very small. I agree with you there. Like, I think we've talked about this before, but with our like, you asked me one day to do like my top 10 movies ever, and I told you number 1 was The Hangover. That's probably my favorite movie ever, and I went on a little bit of a rant because I hated the second one and the third one because they were stupid and they tried too hard.
But then you look at movies like Empire Strikes Back or The Dark Knight.
I think even looking at like...
Or The Godfather Part 2. You know.
I think even looking simpler than that, like, I think the Shrek, like, we were talking about the Shrek. I think the Shrek, I talk a lot of stuff about, like, stuff I know. I think Shrek 2, honestly, might have been one of the best animated movies ever.
Really?
I've ever seen. I freaking love
it. Like animated kids movie?
Well, yeah, animated kid. There's not really adult animated.
Well, yeah.
It's more of a TV show genre.
Well,
because you try to put all that humor into an episode. Like, we talk about this a lot. Sausage Party is awful.
Yes. God
awful. And I think it's because of the concept that it tries to run by. I think it's funny in TV shows because TV shows, you're only getting, like, you're not getting necessarily the whole story with everything because it doesn't have to make sense. With movies, stuff has to make sense. Yeah. Unless it's a movie like Jackass or something like Practical Joking.
Well, you know, not even like animated adult movies, but you like 9 is a good example of a...
What is that?
9. It's a animated movie, but it's more for like a teenage audience.
No.
Like older kids, teenage audience.
Tweeny.
Yeah, it's a decent movie though, and
never seen it. I'll have to watch it. But I think cinema's leaning more towards the internet, and that could be coming to an end soon. This whole net neutrality thing.
I think people fail to realize that, like, of course, like, I'm for net neutrality because I think it's a great way to allow people.
It leads to innovation.
Allow people to express their opinions and innovate in a free environment. You know what I mean? But people fail to realize that net neutrality has only been around for 2 years.
Yeah.
So
it's
and the only thing that's really going to happen probably is it if it does get repealed is that the internet providers charge $1 or $2 more on the bill.
And cell phone providers and stuff. But
Yeah.
I do think, though, that the websites are going to start to get slower because you look at, like, Verizon, or not Verizon, T-Mobile. T-Mobile's paired up with Hulu, I think. And basically, if you get a cell phone plan with them, you get 3 free months of Hulu. So I think you'll see more, like, companies like AT&T and Comcast slowing down that Hulu so that you buy their cell phone services.
No, I agree with that, yeah.
Like, I think that's just the way that the ball's going to roll. But I do think people freaked out a little bit over net neutrality. Like I'm a big proponent for net neutrality. Like I'll be vocal about it, but I think people are freaking out about it a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard people, like multiple people say, you know, net neutrality, that it does so much for education and stuff like that, and that it's correct, but
because that's how 40ISD runs. 40ISD runs off of the internet.
Exactly, but they say, oh, like education and all that. It's like, okay, listen. Education is not your concern, because we have books. People have done it for hundreds of years without technology or the internet. You're still going to get an education. Your concern is with social media and Netflix and stuff like that, which is fine because it's how we live.
Yeah, it's because
yeah. Just don't be,
Don't say it's something else.
Yeah.
Don't bring.
Don't say you're concerned with your education
when you're not.
Yeah. Just to seem,
Yeah.
But no, with net neutrality getting repealed, what's
it's not fully repealed yet.
Well, yeah.
It passed the FCC, which is a big step forward.
It still has to go through Congress, and then
I don't think Congress will pass it.
And then the states are gonna sue if it gets passed, and then companies are gonna sue. But what's the chairman of the FCC's name?
It's a weird name.
Well, yeah. He's Trump appointed.
Yeah, because they're all 5 Republicans.
Yeah. What do you think? Well, no, they're not.
Or no, 2 of them are liberal, I think.
2 are
Democrat. The 2 that passed it, the 2 that didn't support it were Democratic.
Yeah. But he's Trump appointed. So how are you feeling about the Trump administration with the the stuff that he's doing to national parks? And
I think it's doing all it was expected to do. Like, I think it's. I'm not gonna I don't think he's doing a bad job. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like he's being a little bit attacked by the media, not taking up for him because he's done some pretty bad stuff. But
attacked by you too.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Slightly. Some things.
Because
there's open-handed issues and close-handed issues. Most things I don't really care about. Like, there are a couple things I hold pretty sacred with my governmental beliefs, but that Trump does not support. But I'm not bad. I'm not gonna say he's not doing a great job. I'm not gonna say he's not doing a bad job.
Yeah, because I think we were both, like, during the election more supportive of Trump than Hillary, definitely.
Yeah.
But looking at him right now, I don't think he's a bad.
I'd still rather have him than Hillary. I'm still gonna say that.
Yes, completely agree.
Yeah.
But I also think he is one of our least presidential presidents we've ever had.
See, I view it the opposite way. Like, just for the reason of how much he's getting involved with stuff. Because, like, I know this could sound really stupid, but with him using Twitter and stuff to, like, call up Kim Jong and stuff, he's showing, like, he's putting America, like, he's being the face of America, which is pretty much what a president is.
No, I agree that being the face of America is what a president is, but him...
Oh, you're talking about, like, his actions.
Him using Twitter to, like, argue with people and stuff, it's childish to me.
Yeah, because you look at, like, I think it's Truman that did fireside chats.
And him being the face of America, and him doing that is a problem with me because it makes us
look bad
to the rest of the world. You know.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you there.
I think if he acted in a more presidential way,
people wouldn't be viewing him as bad.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Because, I mean, me and you're both not necessarily Republican, because you've talked about how you're more of that classical kind of liberal.
Classical liberal, libertarian, whatever you want to call it.
I view myself more of like a bull moose kind of libertarian kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like what man Teddy Roosevelt was. Like big proponent of, wildlife conservation, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be considered middle by a lot of people. A lot of people would consider me, left wing. A lot of people would consider me right wing.
Well,
I'm probably more right leaning than anything. But
it's because of the close-handed issues. Like, I look at you and the close-handed issues that I think you have, and you swing more towards the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way. Like, I'm more of a Republican-sided libertarian. Like, a lot of the stuff I believe is right-wing, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do view myself as more of a Republican libertarian. Like, when push comes to shove.
Well, like you look at, for me at least, you look at, say, gay marriage or the legalization of marijuana, and I'm for both of them, as long as.
See, that's
with gay marriage, like, I'm fine with it as long as it's constitutional. I think it should be left up to the states. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why I disagreed with the legalization of it from Obama's administration.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Stuff like that should be led to states, like legalization of marijuana and stuff. But my thing with marijuana, man, I don't. This is my really only, I think, liberal belief I have is that I think all drugs probably should be legal. See, my thought is, if you want to shoot black tar heroin into your veins, do it. Not the government's call.
I completely agree with you. No one else has the right
to tell you what you can and can't do.
Yes.
So long as you're not harming somebody.
Exactly.
That's what the country was built on, and we're moving away from that very, very rapidly.
And I think that drug addiction should be treated as a health problem instead of a crime.
Yeah, I think that. But whenever you're talking about rehab facilities, I think that also needs to be left up to the states too, man. Because whenever you throw it to the states, you can't have a government-funded drug relief.
Yeah.
But you don't have a government-funded, like. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I think we need to see a return of, like, kind of state rights, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I think states need to have the final say in what they allow and don't allow in their states, and not a big government.
I agree.
Yeah, no, but that's the problem with the parks and stuff too. Is you can't. The states don't have the funding to fund them, and they just have to sell them to private investors, and it ruins public land. Like, I'm afraid that by the time my kids are my age, that they're not going to have public land to hunt on in the West, and they're not going to have national parks to camp at.
No, that's definitely a big concern because, with me and you and a lot of our friends, we hold nature, like, very dear, and getting out into the woods or going camping is an almost spiritual experience for us.
Yeah.
And, we want our kids or grandkids to be able to experience that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very big thing for me, at least. Like, that's probably my biggest close-handed issue when it comes to government. That, individualism, that's a big thing for me. I support individualism a lot. Stay out of my business, I'll stay out of yours, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, the weather.
Well, no, it's funny you bring that up because, I've been looking and it looks like we're going to have snow on Christmas Eve.
I was going to say, yeah, I saw that. I'm ready for Christmas.
When was the last time that happened?
I think there was snow on Christmas Day a couple of years ago. Maybe.
Yeah, but I want snow that sticks and that's thick. You know what I mean?
White Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Christmas your favorite time of year? Favorite holiday?
It's my the fall's probably the fall coming into the winter is probably my favorite time of year. Like Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday just because I like being because I have a very big family.
Yeah.
I like being around my family and love eating.
Yeah.
My 103-year-old great grandma always cooks for us on Thanksgiving, so we go over there and hang out with her.
103 still kicking. Still roasting turkey.
Yep. No, we don't do turkey. We do ham.
Oh, yeah.
And she's kind of she does like more side dishes and pies and stuff. But God, that woman can cook.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Yep.
So 103. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And she's still up and mobile and.
Oh yeah, she's
fully there.
Probably
in the mind.
Probably the wisest person I know.
Oh yeah, I bet.
The most.
I mean that with all her experience.
Yeah, because I mean I can ask her about stuff that happened in World War II and she'll be like, yeah, I remember that. I asked her about the Great Depression the other day.
Wild.
I asked her about the Great Depression and stuff like that in the 30s, and she was like, yep. And then we talked about grunge rock one time. I mean, she's great. 80 years old and she listened to Nirvana whenever they first came out. Loved it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
You gotta think about like when we're older, what iconic bands are gonna.
Yeah, because you're gonna
come out and
because
we're gonna experience.
With like our grandparents, at least it was the Beatles and the Stones.
The Beatles, Elvis. Like
the
my
Beatles,
grandpa went
the
to an
Stones,
Elvis concert.
Yeah, and then with our parents' generation, it was more AC/DC, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
And that's just classic rock side of it.
Yeah.
That's what we really know.
You have Tupac and you have.
I was gonna say you got Tupac. Well, that's
Biggie
that's a little bit more of like. I guess the 90s kind of stuff.
That's still our parents,
Because and it's
20s,
because
early 30s.
That's what I was gonna say. It's because like, rap music didn't really become big in America until the mid 80s. Like the Sugar Hill Gang. The Sugar Hill Gang were the first people to put a song in the top 40 under rap, and that was in '84.
Yeah.
And you see how far it's become. It's pretty much like it's taken over the music industry, really.
Yeah, it definitely has.
Yeah.
And a lot of the music industry is a lot of, filler BS, but
succumbing to people's wants.
Yeah.
I don't know if succumbing is the right word, but close enough.
But then, like, Post Malone, like, how do you feel about him?
I've always been a big guy for people that use real instruments.
Yeah.
I feel that is music and not computerized beats. So I feel that Post Malone he's a little bit better than most of them, but I mean he's still, but going off of that principle, he still is a rapper in a way. He's
hip hop.
Yeah, he's more hip hop than rap. He's more of a he's real instruments. Like Bruno Mars to me, Bruno Mars is one of the most talented people that does music still.
Really?
Yeah, because all of his stuff is real. Like he plays the guitar and most of his stuff. He plays piano. I think that's the problem. Like we talked about this, but me and you are both avid country music fans, and I feel like that's the problem with just at least country music nowadays is that you're losing that feeling of people playing instruments. Because I mean, you look at people like Eddie Van Halen, who like taught kids how to play guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Like Eddie Van Halen was probably had the biggest impact on the music industry because he raised up a generation to play the guitar. And I feel like Taylor Swift to me does that same thing. I think Taylor Swift could be a new version of Eddie Van Halen. And I'm not saying that based off of talent. Don't get me wrong. Like they're not even on the same playing field. But you look at the inspiration that Taylor had on, like, I guess it'd be our age girls now. Girls play guitar now our age, whereas
or older girls also.
Yeah, I mean like girls in their 20s and 30s and stuff. Whereas like people who listen to like, I don't know, Madonna back in the 80s, like Madonna didn't play an instrument. Madonna shook her hips and.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about, just because you don't know how to play a musical instrument, or just because you don't use actual instruments and it's more computerized beats, if done in the right way,
I get what you're saying there, because
music is music to people, you can't.
Music is based off of people's interpretation.
Exactly.
It goes back to that individualism. If you like it, go ahead. I don't care.
Exactly, and when people say like a certain kind of music sucks, it's like
that's your opinion.
That's fine for you to say, like, you don't like it, but don't say it's not music.
You don't devalue it for somebody else.
Exactly, because
I feel like that's a big issue I do. To talk all the time.
Well, everyone does it, you know.
Yeah.
People do it with everything. There's a lot of tribalism going on in our country right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's even beyond music.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's politics. It's religion. It's whatever. But
yeah.
There's a lot. There's not enough of people wanting to share ideas, and it's more like, oh, you're on that team. Well,
I don't support you just because you're on that team.
Screw you then. Yeah. Anything you say is invalid to me.
Yeah. I think if people actually looked at what they have in common, they would get along a lot better.
Exactly.
Like there's a song by Chris LeDuc, old cowboy country artist, in case you guys didn't know. He opens up the song, and this is one of the coolest moments I've ever met. Like, every time I listen to this song, I can just imagine like a dude just standing in like saloon doors, like an old cowboy, just doors open, and he just speaks these lines. He says, he just talks. So he talks pretty much the whole song.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about how there's groups of people that he's never seen get along and never will in his lifetime. And if they looked eye to eye, they'd realize they had a lot in common, like cowboys and bikers, who he really talks about in the whole song.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's people don't have that viewpoint of people only look at the bad in people. People don't look at the good in people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, tribalism mindset, it's like you look at third wave feminists, right? Where
yes.
They're very, they claim to be all about tolerance and stuff, but they're very intolerant of of ideas that they don't agree with. So say like gun control or,
stuff that doesn't even necessarily pertain to feminism.
Exactly.
That's
not even just feminist. You look at radical
or not AFTA.
Antifa. Radical left-wing groups. And it's the same mindset that,
that's even with
Nazis or
I was gonna say
neo-Nazis or KKK have, because they look at someone, and if their views or if their skin color or whatever is different, that person is invalid to them.
Yeah.
It's the same way of thinking, and it's
same way with religion and everything.
Exactly,
Yeah. Like, as many people know, I'm a very avid Christian, and I feel like that's where Christianity loses its value, is where people, because you look at people like Westboro Baptists that are saying stuff like God hates gays, God hates such and such, God hates Islam. God doesn't hate.
Yeah.
People hate. But
and I'm a very devout Christian too. Very firm in my faith, but I do have a problem with the church sometimes because of the human aspect of it. Because
it's becoming more of a humanized thing.
There's a lot of, and this turns a lot of people away from Christianity or religion in general, is that there's a lot of what's the word? Self-righteousness, and there's a lot of
hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy. There you go. And that's what's heartbreaking to me about it, because I know the love of Christ, and I know the connection I have with other Christians like you, or like a majority of our friends.
Yeah. I think that
people don't get to see that side of it because they only see
I think the problem with the modern church is the modern church tries to take the God out of church and substitute it with the people of God in the church. They try to, like, I mean, because just with Sea Life at least, like that was kind of the cool place to hang out back in our middle school days and stuff, and it was because you thought somebody was funny. You thought somebody was funny instead of thinking, oh, Jesus is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a really oversimplified version of that, but it worked. So.
Yeah, but you look at, say, like a pastor or a priest or whoever, and no matter what religion, and he's preaching about, like say, like gay marriage or, premarital sex or anything like that, and then he goes and eats a 5-course meal and he weighs 400 pounds, which is, gluttony. So there's...
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if it's... Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get your point. I don't think most pastors live like that. Like, no, at least with kids.
I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the gluttony part of it. Like, that was a metaphor.
Yes. Yeah.
Or a simile, whichever one it is. But you look at like that. That's what I love about community life. Is that community life is all about the community of Christ. Like community life doesn't try to take the God out of stuff. They try to incorporate God with people. They try to have them. That's the way it was designed to be. Was people and God coexist peacefully. Mm-hmm. God uses people to speak to other people, not people try to use God to speak to other people.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. And that's the great thing about Sea Life is because you look at like our teaching pastors, Randy and David, have even opened up their house on Christmas Eve for people that want to come and don't have a place to go or don't have family in town.
No, yeah, I completely agree that Sea Life is like one of the best churches in our area, just because the acceptance of like everybody, like no matter what denomination, no matter what sexuality even, like they're gonna accept you in, they're gonna love you, and they're gonna teach you the word of Christ like they would anyone else.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
But with any church though, there's going to be some self-righteousness and hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And I think we need to get away from,
we don't need to view the people of God as God. We need to view God as God.
We need to get away from judging those people and instead taking them in and showing them the love of Christ and just teaching them about His ways.
Yeah, but with that, people, I mean, because you have to say something. Like, something needs to be said. Like, don't get me wrong, something needs to be said whenever a gay man walks into church. But you don't have to discriminate.
Why does it need to be said?
Well, because I mean, that's all. That goes straight back to accountability. Christians have to be accountable for each other. You have to say something. Like, whenever you see a brother doing something wrong, you say that. Like, if I saw you like looking at a girl's butt and it was like a lust thing, I would say, hey, I don't think you should be doing that. Because it's not biblical.
But we don't do that.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we don't accountability.
So why is that in our mindset?
Exactly.
Okay,
I guess that's where Christianity goes wrong, is because we don't do that we don't hold that accountability to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think a lot of people pick and choose what they want.
Nitpick their faith.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Nitpick sins out of the Bible that they choose to.
You're like, well, I can't look at porn, but I can cuss all I want.
Yeah. Or you can't be gay, but eating a shrimp cocktail is perfectly fine.
Well, the thing with the old, because I get what you're saying, because the Bible does say not to eat seafood. Is it seafood or?
No, it's like it's bottom dwelling creatures or something.
Yeah, so it's something like that. But the thing with that is, even that doesn't necessarily apply to us now. Like that.
Well, so then why does being gay apply to us?
Well, because homosexuality is mentioned multiple times in the Bible, not just the
where?
one.
In the Old Testament, it is.
Yeah, but whenever basically it's talking about not cutting your hair and not eating bottom-dwelling creatures and whatever. That was God writing I think it was God telling Moses to write down stuff for the Jews. That pertained to the Jews, God's chosen people.
Is being homosexual anywhere in the New Testament?
No, I don't believe so.
So then why does it pertain if eating shrimp doesn't?
Because, I mean, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I don't have a direct answer for you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I don't have a direct answer for that. So I would have to do my research and let you know. Just, I feel that's something to me that at least I see as wrong.
So would you say it's more of a social discomfort for you than anything else? No, because I get it.
Yeah, you get that it's a social discomfort because it's a little bit weird at first, because you're so used to seeing couples walking around the street, man and woman holding hands.
Listen, the way I think of it is love, right? Mm-hmm. If another dude loves another dude, it's going back to what you said about individualism, right?
That's your call.
You know, if you want to love another guy and y'all genuinely love each other, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy for y'all, right? Yeah. Same thing with a girl and a girl, or whoever. Mm-hmm. But the way I think it is right now is you look back in 1960, right, mm-hmm. or even 70s or 80s even, mm-hmm. and you see a mixed race couple, right?
Yeah.
It
was weird at that
uncomfortable, and it's gonna people said it was a sin,
Yeah. And I have a crazy uncle that still believes that.
Yeah, exactly. But you look now, and it's not as much of a
weird thing to see.
Weird thing to see.
Yeah, and
at least it doesn't make people feel weird.
And it was the same evidence that people have, I guess, against homosexuality. I guess what I was trying to get at, that, because those are written in the same article, is that Jews shouldn't.
Yeah.
Marry outside of Jewish people, but Jewish people now have there's a lot of races of Jewish people now, so mm-hmm. Jewish people can marry whoever they want as long as they're Jewish. Yeah. Religion. Religion's a tricky topic to talk about, man.
Well, yeah, but I think
conversations like this need to be had more.
Exactly.
Problem. People don't value face-to-face conversation anymore.
Not arguments, just simply a sharing of ideas. You might not necessarily agree with those ideas, but they need to be said.
And it all comes back down to this: people are too involved on their phones to look up from their phones to have conversations with people.
Hey, and maybe neutrality getting repealed is a good thing. You never know.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is hey, you got more face-to-face time now. Go tell that girl you love her in person. Don't send it over Snapchat.
Start hanging out on the street corner again,
Oh,
start riding our bikes everywhere.
Go on
like we used to do.
Like we used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never did that. I didn't have a childhood.
Just stayed inside.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my childhood was pretty weird. A weird cat.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming on.
No problem, man. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Of course.
Where can they find you at?
Twitter is Connor_Britt. Again, my WordPress is lee.britt.wordpress.com. Instagram, ConnorBritt03. It's been a pleasure, Tanner.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
No problem, man.
All right, this has been On the Topic of Blank. I'll see you next week.
Pretty great.